Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Steve Perry, and I'm so happy that he's here. How are you doing today?
So good, Caroline. So good.
It's a good day, and I would like to introduce you to the audience, of course. You launched your first company at 15 after a year as a commercial fisherman to becoming a top performing financial advisor and leader in a Fortune 100 company. Your entrepreneur's journey is defined by resilience and purpose. Having experienced both financial struggles and philanthropic success, you left a lucrative career to follow a faith-driven calling, founding the Well Recruiting Solutions. Today, you and your team help financial advisory firms nationwide find the talent they need to grow with the bold vision of impacting 1,000 firms by 2030. Welcome to the Inspire podcast, Steve Perry.
Thank you so much, Caroline. It's an honor to be here.
Is it you? So I didn't mix up the bios as usually.
No,
Right?
you got the right person.
You recognized yourself.
I know some of that story.
Yeah. Thank you so much. My first question is, you left a 900,000 career to start over. What was the moment of clarity when you knew it was time to follow this new calling?
Yeah. So I was at our annual partners meeting where the head of the company was up there kind of describing his vision for, what would be coming and what would we be doing as leaders. And it was pretty clear at that point. My wife was sitting next to me in the audience that it was going to be a lot less entrepreneurial flexibility that we would have leading our individual locations, and would be a lot more, this is what home office wants, and your job is to do what home office wants. And so my wife and I kind of looked at each other and were like, all right, it's time to start exploring what God has next for us. And so that was ultimately about a 5 to 6 month journey. But that was the moment in time that we knew, hey, it's time to make a change.
Wow, what a great answer. Thank you so much for sharing. I see it literally. I see you sitting there and then make this decision. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. Of course, I have another question for you.
Yeah.
You've navigated incredible highs and lows, from bounced rent checks to major donations.
Yeah.
What lessons from those extremes have shaped how you lead today?
Yeah. I would say probably, for me, one of our company values is faith. And if I feel like I am taking the steps that God has called me to take, I can have pure confidence that whatever situation that I'm experiencing right now is what I'm to be experiencing for the learning and just the call on my life. So I think back to my bounce rent checks, I learned a lot from that, but I also wasn't living the life that I was supposed to be doing. And so, there's a saying in the Bible that says, what man meant for evil, God meant for good. And so much good has come out of that. I can't tell you, Caroline, how many times I've been able to share with new entrepreneurs, new people that I've brought into the financial services business over my career, and being able to encourage them, because all they see is, the trophies on the wall, or the success that I have now. And I got to tell them about the times when my rent checks bounced and I couldn't make my car payments. And so that brought us into, brotherhood, and encouraged them, hey, just stick with it. The time is coming. Your time is coming. And I used to always use a phrase is like, you just got to last. You just got to last. And so I think that experience has helped me. And then on the flip side, it's been a blessing in my life that I have been able to reach levels of success that I never thought, like, little Steve Perry would be able to accomplish in his life. But the true blessing in that is not the success that I realized, but really that it was empty. Like, that wasn't what I wanted. Winning all those trophies, living on, the lake house and the $2 million mansion, buying whatever car I want, like, that was not going to live to a fulfilled life, which made it easy when I knew that, hey, it was time to end this career and move into the next step, where, quite frankly, I haven't got a paycheck for the last year and a half, but we've built something incredible. We have over 40 people on our team now that all of them have gotten paid. All of them got Christmas bonuses. Many of them have shared with me, what they've been able to do providing for their family and their loved ones because we took that chance and started this company and their life is better for it. Not to mention all the people that, again, our company recruits. We recruit because we know most people aren't happy or satisfied in the job or the role that they're in, and they're looking for something more, something different. And so not to mention all the people we've helped do that in just the short year that we've been in business.
Wow, I love your answer. Thank you so much for sharing. And you mentioned the calling as well. Yes, the calling. And I would say most of the people are not able to hear God's voice, the inner voice or intuition. And what would you give as advice to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was for somebody who doesn't, who doesn't necessarily have a faith or a strong faith where they're able to, hear God's voice clearly. And trust me, I don't hear it always clearly. But there's an awesome book that I've given to so many people over time. It's called Living Forward. And the idea in that book is you create a life plan for yourself based on where you are now and your beliefs and what you feel like maybe the calling is on your life. And you identify like all of the different accounts, like what are things that are important to you in your life. You put them in order, and then you write down what your envisioned future is in each of those areas. And then the other thing that's a very sobering activity is you write down your eulogy. What do you want to be said about you and who you want to say certain things about you when you do die. And I would just give that as an amazing activity for anybody to do to really take that first step into living a purpose-driven life.
Yes, I did this.
You did that?
Let's mention it. I did it 20 years ago, and I think I'm not sure if because I don't remember what I wrote something like, but I wrote about 2 kids, and I have 2 kids, and I'm not sure if I wrote it before. Normally, yeah, when I say 20 years, then yeah, that I have 2 kids, and it's true,
That's
for
amazing.
example. And then you said something about write down your accounts or something. I
Yep.
love the use of the word because because it is what counts for you, right?
Good.
It's something that counts for you.
Yeah.
It is. I would have used the word goals or something. Write
Yeah.
down 10 goals or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
I love your phrase, saying that that's something that counts. And then, the other thing I think about it is, like your bank account, right? You put deposits into it and you take withdrawals out of it. And the more attention that you pay to it, right, the healthier that is. And so that's why they use the word accounts in that.
Yes. You won't believe I had an accounting company the last 16 years, and it was not fulfilling. This is why I closed it, and and now I'm doing podcasts and writing. So I understand what you are talking about, finance and accounting, but I never used the word, the count, that it counts in, but it's logical.
Totally.
Yes,
Totally.
of course. Okay, my next question for you. Your vision for 2030 is ambitious. How do you stay motivated, and what role does faith play in helping you tackle such a bold goal?
Yeah, great question. So we've actually, since you and I first connected, my partner and I did our annual planning for this year, and we adjusted, or I would say probably broadened the vision, which is now we want to be the trusted source of 100,000 placements by 2030. And the reason for that is because until somebody, in our world, until someone makes a career move, their life hasn't been impacted for the good. And so we really wanted to quantify how many individuals we affect in that. And because we know that companies always need talent. They need more leaders. They need better team members, more team members if they're growing. And so that's kind of a given. And so then we wanted to quantify, like, what does that mean for the consumers and the other people that we serve? So I will say that number is one that came through my, what I call purpose statement. So my purpose statement is that I am a bold, generous, encouraging follower of Jesus. And so those are 3 giftings that I feel I uniquely have. Other people have them, but my unique gifting, who will help fund billions to grow God's kingdom. So through the gifting in leadership and generosity, like, I feel like God's given me the gift to lead business and make a lot of money, but I hold it very loosely. It just flows through my hands and gets directed to wherever I feel like God's calling me to give. And then last line is by leading others to live radically generous lives. And so our company mission statement and vision statement, the financial results that would result from that would mean a couple things. Number one, we would be gifted with the ability to steward literally billions of dollars and direct that to our employees and give them compensation generously, but then also direct to nonprofits that are doing incredible work around the world and doing it at an extremely high level. And then the success in the business would also give us a platform for me to be able to say, hey, like, it's not to enrich yourselves and buy nicer cars and bigger houses and have a larger investment account. Cause I know that that's fleeting. I've had that, you've had that, like, that's fleeting. So let's talk about what we can do that really makes an impact. And it won't be coming from I'm preaching from a place that, well, you've never been there, but we have done that. We've done it well, and we've done it with excellence, another one of our company values, and then have the multiplication effect of not just us giving, but encouraging others to do the same.
Wow, what a great answer. Thank you so much. And you said, I love that you made your goal bigger, or your purpose, whatever, to impact lives. And also what you said, and it was very important. It was a short sentence, but I have to repeat it because to emphasize it, right? So you said something like you want to help people before it's too late, before they feel bad in their jobs or lives or whatever. And this is the point, because most of the people say, oh, I'm going to have a burnout soon, but then they are in the middle of it. And we have to, and there's a saying in Germany, by the way, I don't know if you can understand, but I can try to
I want to hear
translate.
it.
There's a saying, like when you are at the party, you have to go when you are the happiest or something.
Yeah.
At this moment you have to go, because at the party, then it's the evening gets later, and then it's worse, or bad talking, or much alcohol, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's a bad thing. So you have to go at the happiest moment.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I think when we implement this for our lives, or to recognize, and this is tied to what I asked you earlier about the intuition thing. When we listen to our intuition, we know exactly when to go or when to leave a company. Yeah. You know what I mean? You are the expert.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great,
So
Caroline.
we talked about your goal. I love your goal. And then my next question is, where can we find you when people want to reach out to you?
Yeah. So I made it easy, hirethewell.com. And that will direct you to us, and you can learn a little bit more about who we are and what we're about, and connect with me. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I love connecting with people on LinkedIn.
Wow, that's so great. Thank you so much. And my last question is about your coaches and mentors. Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? Or you already mentioned the book Fast Forward. I love that. I will check it out, of course. And who was the best coach you ever had?
Yeah, I've had the same coach since 2017, so 8 years now. His name's Reed Moore. And I wrote a couple books. In my book, I talk about how do you find a coach. And for me, I looked to someone who was actively participating in business still. It wasn't I used to. I had been successful to a point that was far beyond where I had been. And not only was successful in business, but was also leading a family that I would want to emulate as well. Because what I find is that there's a lot of extreme coaches that are really, really good in one area or another. But if you go down that direction, other areas of your life are going to suffer. And so I really looked for someone who emulated all the aspects of life that were attractive to me. And so Reed was that guy, and he's been an incredible coach and mentor and friend now for many, many years.
Wow, I love it. And it's so important to check before hiring a coach or trusting someone to look at their lives and how they are doing. Yeah. Thank you for our interview. Now it's time for your final thoughts to the audience.
Yeah. The Stephen Covey quote, begin with the end in mind. That was one of the things that I shared earlier of, I think the exercise of creating a life plan, doing the exercise in the book, living forward. I think that is the best advice that I could give to, just a general audience today who's looking to move forward. Obviously, I would say, my book, the capacity model, how to build your best life. It definitely has some of those things in it. I think I've made like $40 selling the book, so I'm not worried about that. But books have been a big impact on my life. Those have been two, one obviously that I've read and one that is a combination of everything that I read. But beginning with the end in mind and living a purposeful life is really an incredible way to drive what are the actions that you're taking today.
What a great statement. Thank you so much. I'm highly inspired now.
Thank you, Caroline. It's been a pleasure.
And see you in the next episode.